Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, and today's theme, I guess, is that even inexpensive rod and reel combinations do require maintenance, and it's not a reason, price is not a reason for not servicing your fishing reels. And today I'm going to be working on one from the 1960s, I believe. This is a Kingfisher. It was typically sold, I believe, at Kmart. It comes on a rod that's actually from Sears, but there was another rod in the lot that I purchased that was a Kingfisher Kmart rod. So I think between the two, somebody probably switched off the reel and the rod. Well, these were typical of the reels that you would find in the 1950s and 60s. They were relatively inexpensive. They have plastic side plates on them. Chances are it was made by Ocean City or another manufacturer, and it was inexpensive. You can tell by the types of plating that was used on the reel. These are just plain steel and lightly coated, if that. But you know what? The reel runs, but it's kind of noisy. So we're going to take it apart. We'll learn a lesson here about how the reel was made and how to keep it serviced. There's no reason why this reel couldn't go fishing today, just like it did 60 years ago. So let's get started. I'm saying the reel is from the 50s and 60s because, well, that's kind of when I got started too. And just as typical of a reel that you would have found post-World War II. And, well, economics aside, it was probably a beginner's reel. Interestingly enough, because it was of that period, these are not metric screws or nuts. They are the USA SAE type. Well, I'm going to use a nut driver to remove the handle. And sometimes simplicity is best. This fishing reel doesn't get much simpler than this, but it doesn't mean it's not a marvel of engineering, and it doesn't mean that it's not well made. It simply means that it's a simply designed reel, and you know what? Simply designed reels work well and rarely break. No bells and whistles. Big gear turns a little gear, turns something to collect the line. In this case, the something to collect the line is the spool. There is reinforcements on the plastic case on the front end on the right-hand side. That makes sense because that's where you would be taking any kind of stress or strain from reeling and from fighting a fish. Well, there's 3 screws that are holding the balance of this case on. And the reason why I said this is simple, this is not a level wind reel. This is a direct drive conventional reel. And you would find this reel typically in ponds and lakes and backshore ocean, inshore ocean. These were typically fish braided line, and of course it was right around the advent of monofilament, so you could find some with monofilament on there as well. The ones that I tend to find with monofilament were always, for some reason, undersized. They were putting like 4-pound test on it. You'd put a mile of line on the thing, and well, I guess that's okay if that's what you do. The 3 screws are out, and before we open this up, I want to do 2 things. I want to encourage you to subscribe to my channel if you like the art of fishing service and repair, and I also want to encourage you to take pictures when you're working on a reel like this. It's going to be hard for you to find the original documentation on this reel, if it even exists, and because of that, if you take these things apart and you don't have reference points, well, you may be stuck in terms of trying to put it back together again. Now again, this is a simple reel. Maybe that's not going to be an issue, but as you get in with more complex reels, you certainly want to do that. Let's remove this, and here we go. A big gear turns a little gear, turns something to collect the line. Not very complicated. There is an issue here with this reel, and it may render that this one is going to work pretty maybe not going to work at all. This has got a broken inside collar to it where it's going to anchor the back end of the spool. Well, I'm never one to give up on these projects, so I think what I'm going to do right now is try and figure out how this thing is going to set, and go get some epoxy or crazy glue or something and get that back into position. It looks like it's a clean fracture. Get that back into position so that it can continue to go fishing. We're going to shut that off now. We're going to do that, and then we'll be right back. Okay, well, I've done my best here to crazy glue that. and I think it's going to hold. It's got a nice tight seam to it. It's flush to the side corners. We're just going to set that off to the side. Now, I'm never one to really disturb patina on a reel. If you want, you can take a piece of steel wool, in this case because of the rust, and you can wipe down the posts. You'll get a kind of a bronzing effect to it. It's not going to solve the rust, but it will kind of polish it up a little bit. And I'm trying to be a little bit careful here because that thing is still drying. It's going to take a while for that to dry. We'll probably have to come back to complete this. I want to make sure that that's all set up before I do too much. All right, but in any case, you can polish the side plates. And let's go and look at the business end of this. This should be a very simple, straightforward in and out gear, which it is. On this side, I'm going to be able to clean it. I don't want to put the cleaning solution on the other side where I have that super glue kind of drying, but I do have the opportunity to clean this side, and I will. I found this reel in the back of a shed at a estate sale. Somebody said, oh, there's some tools back there and the like, and when I went in there, there was this reel was sitting along the side of the shed, and I thought, great project. And I like the rod. The rod is actually in nice condition, and well, just thought it would be a good thing to go use for our video, because a lot of folks think that if the reel is inexpensive, it just becomes a toss-away kind of a thing, and it's not. The reel will always do what you want it to do. It may be lacking bells and whistles, or as Greg put it on the notes he sent back and forth in the forum, he said, you know, it doesn't look pretty in the flying from the mast of your boat coming in, so people think that for some reason the fashion of the reel is more important than the function of the reel. That's simply not true. This reel, I'm sure, has caught a lot of fish in its time, and with a little bit of service and maintenance, it can go ahead and catch a lot more. All right, we'll just put a little bit of grease on here. Use fishing reel grease, regardless of what the reel is. It needs fishing reel grease. And a little bit on the back post. And we can set that right inside. This is a two-piece, if I didn't explain that before. There is a center post there. And I'm going to do the same thing here with the steel wool. I'm just knocking burrs off is what I'm doing. There's a minor polish going on here, but in no way is this intended to be a restoration. It's intended to be a let's take this reel fishing again kind of a reel. And I'm kind of interested to see how it performs. I was a little sad to see that we have that broken pillar in the back there, but I think that glue is going to hold it. There's not a lot of stress there. And if it holds it, then we're going to put some line on this one, take it to the local pond, and see how we do. So these things typically can cast very well. They don't have a burring associated with it. It is a direct drive, so when you go to cast, it's going to just spin the reel backwards. Sometimes these reels are called knuckle buster reels because of that. But that's not going to stop it from being able to go fishing. That's the way it was designed. A little bit of grease into that back cap. And we're going to leave it right here. We're going to come back when that glue dries, and then we'll finish this video. Okay, well, it's been about an hour and a half now. I think that's good for the initial set on this. It's not fully cured yet. That'll take about 24 hours. But for the purposes of finishing this video and sharing with you how it all comes together, we're going to go continue on that. Now, normally I would put some grease on the back end of this, but because that piece is not cured yet, we're just going to leave that for a moment. You can, again, polish the spool. Now, this probably shouldn't be taken lightly, this polishing the spool, because if there's burrs on the side of these reels where the plating has come apart, that can eat into the line and it can ruin the line. So do your best to kind of clean it up. And you can see it knocked down a lot of that stuff where it looked like you had plating before. It's gone, but it is smooth, and that's important. This side we can go ahead and put the grease on. So in order to complete the video, we are going to do this part, and then I'm going to take it apart and let that other side cure. We do want to aim that for the hole in the center that we've just repaired. bring our side plate over. Again, simplicity rules sometimes, right? And, well, let's set these into the corresponding holes. Make sure that they're all in there. And we can take the 3 screws, place them in here, and see how we did. Now, interestingly enough, that rod had a price on it. And I don't know if that rod came as a combination or not, but the price on the rod, assuming it had a combination, was $5.99. So we're going to say late 50s, early 60s, and it was a combination that was very, very popular. You get to see a lot of folks using these kinds of rods and reels. All right, let's see if it's going to turn and all, and then we'll take it apart and we'll let that cure. Okay, we're all set. There you go. Look at that. It's quieted it down, and we haven't even really dealt with that side over there with the grease, but it's working fine. That's the idea behind simplicity in a reel. So lessons learned here. Lessons learned is a reel is never that inexpensive that you don't need to do service on it. There's a lot to be said about maintaining your reels and not just tossing them away just because it's cheaper to buy one. If you can do this yourself, you can save money and you can keep the reel fishing for a very long time. The downside on these reels typically is the parts are not available for them. And, well, that kind of goes with the territory. There's more than one reason why reels are inexpensive. In this case, we noted that the plating is not very good, that they're steel pieces and parts, and that they will lose their plating over time. But that doesn't mean that it shouldn't be serviced and kept well. And, well, kept fishing. All right, we're going to let that dry out. We'll come back to that at a future date, and I will put some line on there and put it back on that rod and see if I can take that fishing. Hope you've enjoyed it. Before I leave, I want to thank our first responders, our police, fire, safety, and rescue, everybody involved in keeping us out of harm's way. Truly appreciate what it is you do day in, day out in the interest of public safety. Also want to thank all of our channel viewers for making this channel what it is, for your thoughts, your recommendations, your ideas for the videos, your requests, your comments in the forum to either correct what it is that I may be doing incorrectly or add additional information where I don't know all of the facts. And of course, just keeping the art of fishing reel service and repair alive and living. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, wishing everybody a great day.